Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this introduction to Ignition. So the main question is, why is Ignition a different SCADA than most SCADA on the market? I will go through some features of Mqtt, and then please feel free to ask questions at the end. So Ignition is a platform more than a SCADA itself. Okay, so as a platform, it supports different functions, modules, which can be combined together to create your Industry 4.0 application. So some of those modules that I show here is alarms, drivers to communicate with PLCs. We will go through some with some of them. First, let's try with to show you some architecture. But before, I just want to introduce myself. Okay, so my name is Jose Ribeiro. I'm a consultant in SCADA and MES systems, specialized now with Ignition platform. I've been in the industry for more than 25 years for different industry, mostly food, pharma, electronic devices, and automotive and aerospace. And I've been working with different products, SCADA products, Wonderware, GE, Siemens, and others that I am just missing at the moment. And I haven't seen anything like Ignition, and with different people I've spoke with, Ignition stands a little bit aside than the main SCADA. For a simple reason. First of all, every SCADA has pretty much the same structure as this one. Basically, it's a PC with a keyboard, while you install your SCADA package in that, and you can communicate with one or multiple PLCs and save data into the database. That is very common to most SCADA, to not say all of them. What becomes quite interesting with Ignition is we can expand that a little bit further. So with the same main Ignition server, it will communicate with different computers, different devices, mobile devices, etc., and all without any localized installation. So this becomes a very big gain of time when it comes to rollout, because you develop your application, you configure your application within one computer and not individually each computer. In my past years, I was with a USB stick or even a floppy disk going computer by computer. After 3 days working around the factory, I nearly 1 week later go around to do the update, because we are updating a valve. Okay. This is now done only one application, one button, and that's dispatched through the whole network. Also, is interesting to notice that the database is generic word here. Ignition does not has its own proprietary database. It works as well as Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL, MariaDB, and other providers, as long as they have GLDB compliance. From this basic structure, which is basically very common, typical for a site, we can have probably up to 80, 100 computers connected to one server on loads of PLCs. We can expand that even more from its architecture. So we can have a system a little bit more distributed, where we have just for making a better performance, a more efficient system, have different servers communicating to each other. So the load of the work is spread out between different servers and expands the number of clients connected to this Ignition server. Nowadays, we want to be more remote, especially from for the energy system. So we can have a PLC that is quite far away, and it has a module that through Mqtt and then information, remote information, goes through, travel through the cloud and back into Ignition itself. So you can still monitoring pretty much live data with a minimum disruption with your information. This edge gateway allows to, in case there is the network failure, so we are talking about 3G, 4G, 5G network, internet communication. So if there's a disruption, so data is here stored and then is forwarded when it's reestablished, so you don't have loss of data. We have an application like that for water in water stations that are quite far away. But this works also for a multi-site system, or a site that has the building a little bit far away. So we have here a site one that has its own gateway with its own station working, but we synchronize the data to centralize, so we can analyze different sites and centralize all the data to be able to have everything for the future analyticals information. We have another structure just by combination. We have also Ignition Edge. So for tiny remote sites where we don't need a big server, has just like a local HMI gathering its data, going through the cloud and getting to your central corporate sites. So it's very, very expandable. And the information then can be pushed into cloud system. And this is another combination of what Ignition can offer. So a mixing of gateway module, Mqtt modules, edge Ignition through the cloud again. And we still seeming with not noticing anything where the information comes from, if it's local or if it's far away. You can still operating your plant or analyzing your data. So it's very it's very expandable system. One of the main differences of Ignition is especially the fact that it's unlimited canned tags number. So a tag, if you're not familiar with a SCADA, is basically a name of a variable name. So most of SCADA, it's licensed per number of tags, 64 tags, 120 tags, 6,000 tags, etc. So when you develop, you have to be very conscious about how you design the system. With Ignition, you can expand your factory. You can add a line with basically not involving any additional cost on the license. As I say, it's very centralized deployment, so there's no need to go computer by computer to upgrade it. It has also AWS, so starter kits, which is something that just came up recently. So when you want to put your SCADA into the cloud, there is already a package that makes the integration to AWS much easier. As I said, is well, again, sorry for the repeat, it's a centralized deployment. This is because that's very, very useful. It offers IoT A cloud, and this again is one system that is expandable. You can start simple and then grow from that, adding those different modules. Advantage that most developers like is the fact it has Python scripting. So that's basically enables very customized system. So you go from simple configuration, and within a short amount of time you have a simple system working. But you can go very deep, very customized, having quite complex system thanks to Python scripting, and just do exactly as you want it to do. There's a new module came a few years ago, which is called Perspective, and that's opened up another door, especially with the cloud computing, which is web, and you can develop in HTML5. So this allow not only that you have a computer connected to a server, but you have also an app with Ignition that you can install into your tablet, or you can install it into your phone, and you have basically your factory in your pocket. You can monitor exactly the same as if you were on the factory. And there's no native. Sorry, it works with native SQL, Oracle, Microsoft, MySQL, etc. It's very good for shop floor stations. This is basically what I'm showing you right now. It is Ignition already. It's not PowerPoint. And as I said, it's mobile devices, multi-platform. And when it goes into Perspective, it works either in iOS, in Android, under Windows systems. And it's extremely, on a reinsist, extremely scalable. From a scalable, well, we can add more modules. It's a platform, so it's not only limiting to SCADA. We can limit it to an expand that to MES. And when we go into an MES, that opens another door about your factory control. You can add modules, OE modules, so you can monitor your performance and improve your process of the line. You go and monitor the quality with the SPC module. Track, serialize your numbers, track the parent and child where the materials are consumed from. Manage recipe, having dynamic batch control with ATS batching system. He has also modules for document management. You have connectivities for SAP or other ERP, such as with web services or SAP connectors. It can handle barcode scanners. By actually on the barcode scanners, there is also the fact is using mobile devices. You can use a camera as a barcode scanner itself. So you can use a tablet where the operators, especially for shipping, logistics, operators they have now tablets. They fill the forms on the tablets, and then they can barcode scan using the camera of their tablet. All that with enterprising, so gathering all the data from different sites of a factory. And there's also some serial RS-232, all technologies. So how does it look like? Well, the time to show everything with Ignition will take a few days, basically, because there's so many features. So I will skim through very quickly what it could look like. When I say what it could look like, well, my screen background is blue, but we can change the colors to anything we want. We have so many features. Some are in shell, something you can develop. So I can change that to green if I don't like the blue, or put that to blue. So very, very quickly. We not need to redevelop and reconfigure everything. The buttons are here on the right, they are here on the top. Well, this is just personal choice. The buttons, basically, I can put them anywhere I want through the screen. From SCADA point of view, well, the applications are multiple. We can use Ignition for energy overview, consumption, generation of energy. We can have energy dashboard. We can use it for water treatment. We can have it for a process control, where we see different tanks, mixing, filling, labeling, packaging. Can use that for batching, different tank farm with valves control, routing on my process with different tanks, vessels, etc., which is basically what most SCADA do anyway. Ethical trends, so we can monitor live trends in the different pattern. What's something very good in the history trend that most SCADA doesn't have is I can track it, trace it. It's aligned with different charts, but I can go switch to history and go backwards or put it back again to real time. So, but one feature that Ignition pushed a little bit is the trend on demand. Most of the systems we have a trend where we everything is pre-configured, but what I can add is with the tag browser. So I just remove my trend. I have no trend. I go back to my tag browser. I choose on the drag basically what I want. Okay, and I can instead of to configure multiple screens, each one with its own set of trends, we can have just one screen, and we pick up and combine all the trends that we want, and then even remove the one I don't want. So it gives this big flexibility with very little amount of development. It manages alarms like in SCADA. The great thing is for alarms that we can select, we can acknowledge it, but a great feature within Ignition, and that's something that we see in most of plants, is the alarms going back and up, and some alarms can stay on for so long, okay, and still there, and fills up some screens, okay. Well, with Ignition, just select the alarm and just shelve it and come back in 5 minutes. I know you're going to be there for too long, but come back in 5 minutes, because this way operator will see a new alarm coming in, and they will be able to acknowledge and process this information immediately. When we have too much information, well, it's no information, and what you want is operator to react to what's happening at the plant quite quickly. For the alarms, well, it's the same thing. We can go back to the historical alarms and filter it for the date that you want, and just basically just filter whatever you want to see. Okay. You can embed videos. So this is videos in US. Let's go what's happening in a beach in Japan, or a bridge. Okay. So we have different you can have a camera within your factory and monitor your own process. But what you can do is also combine this video. Okay, combine this video and add the information. So it becomes almost an enhanced reality. So you see what's going on with real life, but also you can overlay information like alarms on top of your background. So there's many ways, many applications you can do with Ignition. So what I just showed you here is just one representation of what Ignition do. This is another one where the menu is completely different. It's still again the same application, and we show you a different way of menu, a different way of representing a different chart. So there's lots of combinations, and to show every way it's almost impossible because it will mean I need to remind people for personal liking on preferences. So this is another historical trend, similar trends that I had, but with different options, different combinations. Beside that, well, we have a web version. So instead of to have the application on my computer, which is loaded directly from the server, I can use the Web Explorer, and that is where it enables tablets with Windows, Android, etc. And the information, that's HTML5 representation. Well, we have examples for wastewater to show some dashboard. And the advantage of having through HTML5, obviously, it depends on the size of the tablet, it automatically readjusts all these tables. Okay, so here I have something quite narrow, so I can go up and down. If I have my full screen, it reorganizes my dashboard in a different way. So it's using the power of a web browser or of your the app of the device that you're using. So it's very adaptive. I could go on, but I'm pretty sure you have some questions for me. So I'm free. I'm here to answer if you have any questions. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah. You can also type the questions in the panel if you have any questions regarding the seminar.
Okay, I see no questions coming. So okay, but since there's no any questions, Mega?
No, they're not that I can see.
Okay. Well,
Somebody is asking, just a second. Video feature can record. Mom, you can also unmute yourself and ask if you want to. I guess his question is, can we record video when alarming?
excuse me, but what's the question?
Okay, I see two questions. One is, which brands of SCADA are Ignition targeted to replace? Is it compatible with any brands of PLCs?
Yes, so Ignition has multiple drivers. So I just rephrase the question just to be sure I fully understand it. Does Ignition works with any PLCs? So Ignition comes with different drivers. Obviously, the main one is OPC UA. So any PLC with OPC UA, it will work. It comes also with some native drivers such as Siemens, Rockwell. I don't have the full list on my hand now, but there is also drivers for Modbus, TCP, etc. And in some cases, there are some PLCs are very rare, and with Kepware in between, it will work no problem. So we had no cases identified where it was not possible to get data from a PLC, as long as this PLC is able to be connected to the network.
Okay. Mong, you are unmuted. You can ask your question if you want to.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
About I saw in the article about the ignition aid for the cost and efficiency compared with the MQTT solution. What the solution is good for customer?
Sorry, I don't fully understand the question. What is best, MQTT or what?
Yeah, MQTT and aid ignition aid. Hello.
So yeah, it's breaking up for me. Can we type the questions, or Mega, could you forward me the questions? I'm not fully. It's breaking up, so I only understand half of the question.
Yeah, I guess, Mong, your voice is breaking. Can you repeat your question once again?
So I'm not fully sure I fully understand the question. It was something to do about the performance on the MQTT.
Yeah.
But in comparison to on the data, I didn't hear it. So MQTT is a short messaging, text messaging. So basically, the way MQTT works is it's an international protocol, and will send very instead of, unlike the normal PLC communication, a PLC works with what's called a pool data. What that means is any SCADA will every second or every few seconds, it's called a pool time, will ask to the PLC what is this value. So constantly the PLC will reply 0, 0, 0, 0. Mqtt is designed for mobile network pretty much, or internet, where you do not want consuming huge amount of data on unsaturated network. So Mqtt will be sending only when there's a change of value with a timestamp. So instead of saying 0, 0, 0 all the time, we'll say that. So the amount of data that Mqtt sends is much lower than a normal traditional way of communication. However, from information point of view, there is no loss of information because you get all the information. And then depends on the device itself. As a source, some devices has a bit of buffering. Not all, and that's depend of the manufacturer, but most of them has some bit of buffering. So if there's a network breakdown or breakage, then it buffers and will send later. So Ignition will get the data with his own timestamp and put that in, refill the missing gaps. So I don't know if I do want to answer this question.
Okay. Yeah. For the MQTT write communication, yeah.
For MQTT communication.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Any more question?
Yeah, there's one question from my side. And yeah, let's take an example. The current overview screen is more like a overview screen for a water monitor system, if I remember, understood it correctly, right? So in this case, some of the customer would like to see a dynamic flow chart to indicate which direction there's water flow, right? So is there any possibility for Ignition to achieve this kind of requirement?
Like showing arrows or something like that, like here?
Yeah, it's just a dynamic, flow chart, the screen.
Yes, yeah. It's dynamic. We see those values here modifying. Okay, those values they are so those screens, they are simulated screens. Okay, they are not real factory plants. It's just for demo purpose. But yes, they can be they are dynamic. Yes, they're absolutely dynamic. You can see the values going up and down. We can make things rotating. The colors will change obviously based on the status. The values obviously they get.
Yeah, how about the line? I mean, the collection line between these figures, between this chart, to show a dynamic flow direction.
Yeah, so you want, for example, showing something moving like that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that too.
Okay.
It depends. Yeah, you can make change the color. You can make something that moves. So based on the location, for example, which is more or less used to be in the industry. Will be more like showing just a simple arrow, so it doesn't distract the operator eyes. It is a HMI 101, which guide how to design your screen, and basically it's getting everything more choose and put less possible data on the screen, so it expands the quality of information to the operator. But from technical point of view, yes, you can make something that looks at some animation on the flow.
Yeah, is this what we are talking about? Is a significant effort needed, so which we need to take a special consideration during quotation, or it's not big deal?
Well, when you estimate, well, everything needs to be taken into account, but it's not a major work to do. But obviously,
Okay.
everything, it depends on the amount of data, of information you want to put on a screen. Obviously, there is a little bit more work, more effort to take into account.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if there is no more question, well, I think I will probably leave here, Mqtt, and thank you all for your time. And if you have any question that comes up after, please contact Mqtt. I will be happy to answer them.